helping people with depression. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can help people when you think they're suffering from depression. Sometimes you don't always see that they're suffering from depression, and particularly that's a lot around males. They can actually hide it very well because they don't talk a lot about how they feel. Women certainly will talk more about their emotions and how they feel, whereas men will actually hide their emotions and trap them very deep down in their body, and this is what causes them a lot of pain in their body, and sometimes it just feels no escape other than to commit suicide, which is such a tragedy in our society that this is still happening at a very high rate today. When you're dealing with people with depression, I think it's really important that the most important thing that you can do is to definitely support them through it. But talking to someone will actually relieve that pressure and pain in their body. You can never say to someone, oh, you just need to get over it and you need to go for a run or you need to start going to the gym. These things don't work. For someone who's chemically in those really deep, dark places of depression, those things will not work because their body is so crippled up in pain, they can't actually think past the pain. So sometimes if we can just sit with them, hear them out, get them to talk, get them to open up as much as they can, that's all you can really do. And I think when someone's really suffering that sort of pain, even going to a psychologist, and they're great things and they'll certainly help. And some people do need medication, but to really help someone with depression, you've got to kind of walk parallel and I believe walk beside them and support them through that journey. And that's just sitting there having a quiet beer with them or having a cup of tea and just hearing them out. Sometimes people just need a kind ear to help them through it. And look, sometimes depression is very hard for people to turn around because it's so deep inside their soul that it's very, very hard to turn around. And as much as you can try, no one understands what that person's going through and the pain that person can be suffering. So you've really got to look at the scenario and the situation that if someone is depressed and you're sensing that, you really need to address it with them, and you need to talk to them about it, and you need to let them know that you're there for them and you're supporting them, and yet you understand that depression is physical pain, because depression is a mental illness, but it becomes physical pain in the body. And when someone has physical pain in the body, it constricts that body and it tightens their body up, and they will actually feel physically sick. So we will get to the point that they feel like they could collapse on the floor and literally die. The pain can be so intense. So I think you've got to really understand when you are dealing with someone with depression that they are really suffering on a really serious level, and that sometimes there's nothing that can actually shake them out of it other than just walking that walk with them and knowing that you're there supporting them through that journey. And look, it's not an easy thing. Dealing with depression is not an easy thing. And you can't just handle it with kid gloves because you're scared. I know a lot of parents who have sort of had close calls or things like this, they get very scared of dealing with people like that they're going to tip them over the edge. But also there is that fine line that you've also got to reach out to them as well. You can't just back off and think they could do something because you might say something to them. You've still got to treat them as a normal person as well, but you've got to be aware that not only is it mental pain, it becomes physical pain, and the physical pain in the body can often be very unbearable. So all you can do is support them, try and get them out of the house, try and reach out to them, try and get them laughing, get them doing anything that can shift that little bit of pain in the body. And I tell you what, even if you give them 15 minutes of relief where you're sitting there talking to them and sharing a beautiful moment out under the trees or simple things, that 15 minutes of relief will give that person that break from that terrible pain that they're suffering. Because I tell you what, depression is a very, very painful place for people to be. So sometimes there's not a lot that you can do apart from reaching out to them and giving them help. And yes, certainly psychologists, medication, a lot of things do work, but there's a lot of people out there suffering in society, and we have to all really open up our awarenesses and really support some of these people through it, because they feel very isolated in that pain. And it's the physical pain that is so debilitating. It's not just the mental pain, it becomes a physical pain in the body. So yeah, just be really aware of that when you are dealing with depression, that sometimes you can't cure that depression in that person because it is so deep down inside their body, but just know that you can support them through it and walk parallel with them through that journey, and try to uplift them just as much as you can. And you know, it is their journey, it's not your journey, it's their journey. So sometimes they have to try and get themselves out as well, and as hard as that can be, just make sure you're giving them that support. And look, I know sometimes it's not even recognised because people can hide it that much, but I think most of us get a sense when someone isn't themselves. So yeah, just reach out to that person, but it's the physical pain, not just the mental, that is causing that person to be in such a terrible, terrible state. So yeah, just be aware of that, okay, when you're dealing with someone with depression, because it's not an easy fix. It's not something they can scrape out of overnight. It certainly takes a long time to get to the other side where they're actually feeling a lot better. And sometimes people just don't, as we all know in society, they will exit from this life, and that's very sad when it gets to that point. But the pain can be that intolerable that we have to understand it's not just a mental disorder, it becomes physical in the body, and the pain can be very unbearable. So see how you go. Try and just support through people through depression, because it is a journey, and some people suffer it and some people don't. And you know, not everyone's the same, but some people have this, their chemical and the way that they're wired does trigger depression in a lot of people. The statistics on that are actually very high. So just always reach out to them, give them as much time as you can, but you know, try and interrupt those depressive thoughts that they're having by distracting them. Distracting will be a really good thing, and it'll give them that 10 minutes of relief from the pain, or it might be an hour. You might go fishing and that might give them an hour's break from the pain. So anything you can do will really help that person to just have a break from the pain, because it's the pain cycle that causes that deep, deep depression. So just do your little bit and try and reach out to them and help them. And look, sometimes we just don't know. So, you know, that's all we can do is our best, and just try and reach out to these people, because depression is a huge issue in society. I think we're all aware of that. So, yeah, give that a go, and yeah, just always be there for them. Just let them know that you're there. Bye.